A very good evening. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst Centre here in Colombo. It's primetime news live on Newsfirst. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
And I'm Joel Outskoon. Let's start off with a look at this evening's headline-making stories. Slum dwellers to receive new houses devoid of party preferences. Statement by the President. JHU let go of all ministerial portfolios.
අපි මෙතෙන් පටන් ඒ එක්සත් ජනතා නිදහස් සන්ධානයේ විනයට යටත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපි අපේ ජාතික හෙළවුරුමේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති මත ඉදිරි ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගැනීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Minister Gunaratna Veerakoon makes an announcement on the presidential election.
හිත රාත්‍රියේ මධ්‍යම රාත්‍රී 12ට ජනාධිපතිවරණේ ප්‍රකාශයට පත් කරනවා.
3 bodyguards of the UWA chief minister killed in an accident.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that party affiliations are immaterial when implementing housing projects for slum dwellers. The president made this statement at an event held today to declare open another housing scheme.
The Janasevana Sayurapura urban housing scheme in Angulana Murutua was declared open this morning by President Mahinda Rajapaksa. The 9-story complex, which comprises 288 units, was constructed by the Urban Settlement Development Authority.
අපි හැමදාම පැල්පත් වාසීන් වශයෙන් ජීවත් වෙන්න බෑ. සමහරු මේ අයව
We cannot continue to be slum dwellers indefinitely. Certain persons are trying to keep these people in the slums. They do this because it is advantageous to them. They need it for their movements and their politics. You have placed your trust in us to change this situation. Our primary goal is to free all the children from the slum dwelling mentality. We have made major sacrifices and spent millions to build these houses for you. This is a national program. Whenever we implement such a program, we do not pay any heed to party affiliations. All we care about is freeing the people from this situation.
Meanwhile, an almsgiving was held at the Abhayarama Vihara in Narahempita today in lieu of President Mahinda Rajapaksa's birthday and the 4th anniversary of his second term of office.
Let's take a look back at the illustrious career of President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
After the demise of his father T.A. Rajapaksa, Mahinda Rajapaksa took his first step into politics in 1968 as the SLFP organizer for the Beliata electorate. He first entered parliament by winning the Beliata electorate in the 1970 general election and was the youngest parliamentarian at that time. When the People's Alliance government came into power in 1994, Mahinda Rajapaksa became the Minister of Labour of that government. Subsequently, he became the Minister of Fisheries and Ports. Mahinda Rajapaksa became the opposition leader on the 6th of February 2001, and it was in 2004 that he became the Prime Minister of this country of the UPFA government. In the presidential election held on November 16, 2005, Mahinda Rajapaksa became the president of the country, and within a short period of 3.5 years, he vanquished the scourge of terrorism from the soil of his country on the 18th of May 2009, fulfilling the pledge given to the people who suffered from terrorism for 3 decades. Since then, the president has embarked on a development drive with the goal of making Sri Lanka the wonder of Asia.
On to your developing story this evening, the Jatika හෙළවුර may resign from all of its position within the government today. At a media briefing convened this morning, the party announced that Patili Champika Ranavaka and Udaya Gambampila have resigned from their ministerial positions as of today. The JHU also noted that at this media briefing that they would no longer come under the discipline of the UPFA.
Jatika හෙළවුර convened a media briefing at the auditorium of the National Library and Archives Council this morning to announce the decisions they had taken at the party Central Committee meeting last evening. Frontline members of the JHU, including Party Leader Venerable Omalpe Sobitha Thera, Chairman Venerable Athuraliye Ratana Thera and General Secretary Partli Champika Ranawaka were present at the media briefing. Deputy General Secretary Uday Gammanpilla also attended this media briefing, taking time off from in-house treatment in hospital.
ජාතික හෙළවරුමේ මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් ලෙස මම
We have decided that I will resign from my position as the Minister of Technology and Research in this government, and that Uday Gammanpilla will resign from the position of Western Province Minister of Agriculture, Culture and Environment. The Central Committee and Parliamentary Group arrived at this unanimous decision yesterday. If the country continues in this way, then we will either have to sell off our assets and become a colony, or we will become a bankrupt nation. From this point on, we will not come under the discipline of the UPFA. We hope to decide on a future course of action as per the policies of the Jatika Helorumea. We are still open for discussions regarding the proposals we have put forward, be it with the SLFP or any other party. I must also state that in the future as well, our stance will be determined by policy and not by position. I must also note that we will also work in accordance with our policies for a common program that is able to overcome the future challenges of this country if such a program exists. The endeavour that we have embarked on today is a humanitarian operation.
අපේ මේ ක්‍රියාදාමය අදින් ආරම්භන ක්‍රියාදාමය මානුෂීය මෙහෙවරක් මානුෂීය මෙහෙයුමක්.
Also speaking at the event, JHU leader Venerable Omalpe Sobitha Thera noted that this was not the action of an enemy force but an action taken to bring the country into the right path.
නිදීනං පවත්තාරං යම් පස්සේ වජ්‍ය දස්සිනං නිග්ගයිහවාදින් මේදාවින් තාදිසං පණ්ඩිතං භජේ කියන නියමය. කල්යාණ මිත්‍රයෙකු හැටියට වරද පෙන්වා දෙන්න.
As true friends, we point out the wrong and give due appreciation to the right. Consider the advice of the true friend as hidden treasure, and it is through this that you will progress. In the past and in the present, the Jatika Hela Urumia followed the policy of being true friends, and at present we are at a juncture where we must carry out our duty as true friends. The decision we are announcing today is one which has been reached in the best interest of the country, the nation, the Sasanaya, and the entire community for the common good as guidance. We say to His Excellency the President and the government that this is not the action of an enemy force. We say to the responsible parties to consider this as guidance that is being given by true friends.
මේක හිතමිතුරන් විසින් කරන මඟ පෙන්වීමක් හැටියට සලකන්න කියන කාරුණික දැනුම් දීම අපි වගකියුත්තන්ට දන්නනවා.
මරණයට අපි කොහොමවත් බය වෙන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ.
As bhikkhus, we need not fear death anyway. We have been told to embrace the agony of death. State power is temporary. Spiritual power is permanent. It flows freely. Therefore, he will believe that this is not an action of selfish persons who sit around him and say yes to everything, but a positive message. Any person who has not attained spiritual enlightenment will become a sinner under this constitution. Our Central Committee, Executive Committee and everyone else arrived at a unanimous decision. Other parties fractured into two. We will not pledge our support to the President at the presidential election. We have a resolve regarding how we are going to defeat him. We are not going to defeat the President or his image. We are defeating his policies.
මේක සාමූහික තීරණයක් අපි ගත්තේ. වෙන පක්ෂ දෙකට ගැටුණා.
අපි නොසලී විපක්ෂය ඇතුලේ මහා දුෂ්කර වෑයමක් දරලා කොටි විරෝධී මතය හදපු නිසා
In 2005, President Mahinda Rajapaksa was able to seek a mandate to defeat the Tigers because we worked tirelessly in the opposition to build an anti-Tiger viewpoint. That anti-Tiger field is now filled with gold, and there are many who lay claim to that gold. But today the field of good governance has become barren. Today some people question as to whether the request to amend the presidential system is a Western conspiracy. They ask whether it is an effort of the NGOs. They ask whether it is the work of secessionists. The Mahinda Chintanaya manifesto presented in 2005 states clearly on page 83 that the position of President will be made accountable to Parliament. It was repeated in 2010. So it is our President that has made written promises on 2 occasions to amend the Constitution. Albert Einstein has said before that if a person repeats the same experiment anticipating different results without changing the conditions, then they are insane.
කොන්දේසි වෙනස් නොවි එකම පරීක්ෂණය වෙනස් ප්‍රතිඵල බලාපොරොත්තු යමෙක් කරත් නම් ඔහු උම්මත්තකෙක් කියලා.
Well, now for the full press conference convened by the JHU, watch the complete speech after primetime news on MTV Sports.
The JHU's decision did elicit responses from several government ministers. Let's take a look at some of the views that were expressed.
කවුරු
His camp is strong no matter who leaves his camp and goes over in an attempt to strengthen others. We have a question to ask the Nayakatheras who left this camp. We pose this question to them directly. Who are they trying to replace President Mahinda Rajapaksa with? We wish to ask this question of the nationalist forces.
Honourable Speaker, we have no doubt that the budget will be passed. I do not know if Ratanathera will vote for this. No matter who votes or does not vote, we will go ahead. This is not a problem for us. We will go on our journey. The decision taken by the President will be implemented. The program will continue as intended. Anyone who wishes so can leave. Our aspiration is to have a government that is nourished by everyone's strength. That is what we wish for. But honestly, we are not fearful that this incident has in any way affected His Excellency the President's strength. Our people have extremely clear views regarding his values, his service to the country and the service that we can hope from him in the future. We do not believe that this will affect his position in any way. Chairman of the JHU, Venerable Athuruli Ratanathera, joined a live discussion on the 7 p.m. primetime news bulletin on our sister channel Sirasa TV this evening. Let's have a listen to some of the excerpts from the interview. You are staying with the government as public representatives, but you are stepping down from all positions, including ministerial positions. The question that the people have now is, what is the JHU doing? Why was such a decision taken? If you are going away, you must go. If you are staying, you must stay.
If you are going away, you must go. If you are staying, you must stay. That concept has a lot more to it. One can go away and pretend to stay back, and one can also stay and pretend to have stepped away. What we did was, we relieved ourselves from our responsibilities with the alliance government. We have taken a political decision where the JHU will act independently in the parliament.
Will this result in the people losing faith in the JHU?
The people's faith will increase 1,000-fold.
It's been several hours since you announced this decision. Has the ruling party or even the President responded to this decision?
There has been no such special response. The people in their thousands, including scholars, intellectuals and politicians, have embraced us with respect and love. I believe that we can be happy that we took the right decision for the future of the country.
The President has been engages in cordial discussions with everyone, including the media. You strengthened the alliance government in 2005 and 2010. Did you not have a discussion with the President before announcing this decision to the media?
We were given an audience with the President. However, unfortunately, we could not have extensive discussions with the President. To my understanding, if you are to have a discussion with the government, it should be with Minister Basil Rajapaksa.
Why is that?
The way I see it, if you say something to him, he understands it. If he understands what is said, there is a high possibility of that thinking materializing. I understand that in this country, Minister Basil Rajapaksa is very powerful. I have engaged with him very closely. If you come to be closer to him, it would be like being closer to the President.
Democratic Party leader Sarath Fonseca too commented on the decision taken by the JHU at a media briefing convened today.
We congratulate them for having the spine to reject the path of the government is on in this manner at least. If they have had enough of this government, then their final decision should be to leave the government and sit with the opposition. We believe that they will reach this juncture. If they do this, then we will wish them our best.
Fonseca also commented on the search for a common candidate.
There must certainly be agreements between the key political parties. Because the public representatives are in the key parties, there is no personal issue between Ranil and myself. I accept without debate that Ranil Wickremesinghe is a prominent character from among the opposition politicians. Even the people in this country must unwillingly even accept the fact that he has the experience and ability. He is talented.
අපි ඡන්ද දෙන්න එවැනි ප්‍රශ්නයක් මට නෑ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්තයාත් එක්ක.
The Democratic Party leader also commented on crossover from his own party.
මුදලට ගිජු වෙලා මුදල වෙනුවෙන් දෙමව්පියන් උනත් පාවා දෙන්න.
There are such politicians in any party who would betray even their own parents for money. Similarly, these three individuals have fallen to that level. They have betrayed our party, they have disgraced our party, and they have disgraced me as the party leader. And now they are making various statements in a bid to justify their position and show that they are in the right. We ask the people to understand this situation. The ruler of this nation is corrupt. He follows a corrupt political culture. He approves of corruption, bribery, and taking commissions.
බිලිබා ගැනීම, අල්ලස් දීම, කොමිස් ගැනීම.
ස්ථීර වශයෙන්ම අපි මේ සටනේ ඉදිරිපෙළ ඉන්නවා.
We are definitely on the front lines of this battle. As a party, the party leader and us will take action against those individuals who betrayed our party. We will forge ahead until we have made the people of this country victorious. We will definitely remain with the leader and work towards victory in this battle against injustice. We believe that the people will give the appropriate response to those who crossed over from benefits and privileges.
ජනතාව පිළිතුරු දෙයි කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා.
A rally titled No Third Term for Mahinda Stop Illegal Presidential Election, organized by the People's Movement for Democracy, was held this evening at the Guru Singapura Prize Grounds in Colombo. Frontline members of the JVP, including JVP leader Anurakumara Dissanayake, attended the protest rally. The protest march was held prior to the commencement of the rally. The protest march, which commenced near Campbell Park in Borella, reached the Guru Singapura Prize Grounds via Technical Junction, Mardana. Heavy showers did not deter the group, including JVP leader Anurakumara Dissanayake, from proceeding with their protest.
Well, the views expressed at this protest rally will be coming up shortly on the bulletin tonight. Moving on to more local news, two government ministers commented today on the prospect of a presidential election being announced in the very near future.
The presidential election will be proclaimed at midnight tomorrow. Applaud for its Mahinda Rajapaksa's election. Various persons are idly speaking of a common candidate and other candidates. The election will be proclaimed tomorrow. Where is the other side's candidate? In 30 hours, the opportunity will dawn for the first shot to be fired at a presidential election. You must join in this process. We call you to do this without standing idle.
පොදු අපේක්ෂයේ ගෙනීම ව්‍යාපාරේ මම යටින් වැඩ කරා. මට ඒක එලිපිට කරන්න පුළුවන් කමක් තිබුණේ නැහැ.
කවුද පොදු අපේක්ෂකයා?
අපි කලබල වෙන්න හොඳ නැහැ. මොකද මේක ඉතා තීරණාත්මක අවස්ථාවක්.
For more of the views expressed by Nandini Gunathilaka, former first chairman of the UPFA, tune into Newsline on the main news bulletin at 10 p.m. tonight on our sister channel, Sirasa TV.
Welcome back to Primetime News, live on News First. 3 people, including 2 members of the Ua Province Chief Minister Shashindra Rajapaksa's security detail, were killed in an accident that occurred in Mahagodayaya in Buttala early this morning. 4 people were injured in the accident.
The jeep travelling from Monragala to Buttala carrying members of the Ua Chief Minister's security detail had collided with a parked tipper. Our reporter says 7 persons had been travelling in the jeep, adding that the injured were rushed to the hospital. 2 of the deceased have been identified as a 48-year-old sub-inspector of police from Bandarawatha Talangama and a 45-year-old sergeant from Batuvita Matara. The third fatality was a 21-year-old man from Kataragama employed at the office of the Chief Minister of the Ua province. The police say the driver of the parked tipper had been arrested in connection with the accident.
Our investigative news segment, Action TV, is next.
This hoarding was erected to mark the laying of the foundation stone at 10 in the morning for a project and also raise awareness amongst the locals of this project. Today was incidentally the 5th occasion on which a foundation stone was placed for the renovation of the 13-kilometre stretch of road from the Kotumpitiya junction in Panduasnuwara to Kirimatiyawa. The first of such foundation stones for the road was placed over 3 years and 8 months ago. The work that was supposed to be carried out after the foundation stone was placed was to resurface and renovate the stretch of road. However, no such renovation took place for a period of 1.5 years. After the first of such stones was placed, and a period of 1 year was taken to simply resurface 3 kilometres of this road. Afterwards, another foundation stone was placed and 7.5 kilometres of this road was resurfaced. However, on Action TV yesterday, we pointed out that 1.5 kilometres from the previous point had been left out. Today, another foundation stone was placed to mark the commencement of work on a bridge that replaces the footbridge on this stretch of road, for which a foundation stone was placed in August in lieu of the Datakilla Development Exhibition. The construction of this bridge was included in the work schedule under the initial program for which a foundation stone was placed. However, what actually took place was the resurfacing of the old bridge. The Deputy Minister, who arrived at the location today for the event, witnessed firsthand the manner in which the carpet that was laid on this bridge was damaged.
I witnessed that one section of this road is in a dilapidated state. The carpet that was laid has been damaged. It has been several months since this road was renovated. We have not made any payments to the contractor that undertook this work. We request them once again to renovate this road.
In business news this evening, keeping with the recent policy, the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has decided to maintain its policy rates unchanged. The central bank says it decided to maintain the low policy rates which determine interest rates at commercial banks, taking into consideration current economic trends. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka notes that as at the end of last month, the country recorded its lowest inflation figure of 1.6% since November 2009. The CBSL expects that inflation will continue to remain at low levels. The CBSL has decided to maintain low policy rates in a bid to increase the flow of credit to the private sector from the banking system and stimulate economic growth. According to the central bank, credit to the private sector from commercial banks increased by 52.3 billion rupees in September.
The Maubima and Ceylon Today newspapers celebrated their 3rd anniversary today.
The Maubima and Ceylon Today newspapers were launched by Ceylon Newspapers Private Limited in 2011. In the past 3 years, they have not only become popular among both Sinhala and English readers, but have also won an array of accolades. Within just 3 years, the Maubima newspaper won the gold medal for the Best New Entrant of the Year at the Slim Brand Excellence Awards 2013, organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. In the 12-year history of this award ceremony, this was the first time that a newspaper won the award for the Best New Entrant of the Year. Maubima also went down in the annals of history when its innovation, Lion Flag creation, clinched a Cannes Lions Award at the prestigious Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity held in France.
In the manner that Sivasa radio and television revolutionized the once stagnant media industry of this country, we believe that the Maubima newspaper, in this short span of 3 years, revolutionized print media. The print media of this country has now started following in the footsteps of the Maubima newspaper. I am very happy with the revolution that Maubima made. I think we did a service to this country by revolutionizing the print media.
A rally titled No Third Term for Mahinda, Stop Illegal Presidential Elections, organized by the People's Movement for Democracy, was held this evening at the Gunasingapura Prize grounds in Colombo. Let's now take a look at some of the views that were expressed at this rally.
ජාවාරංකාර කළු සල්ලිකාරයෝට ඒකට හොරකම් කරන්න ඉඩ දුන්නු දේශපාලනඥයෝ කෝටි ගණන් හම්බ කරපු දඬුවමක් නැති අධිකරණයේ ස්වාධීනත්වය නැති වංචා දූෂණ වලට වැටවැඳීම නවත්තපු මේ ව්‍යවස්ථාව අපි සම්පූර්ණයෙන් වෙනස් කරන වගේකට රටගෙන යාම සඳහා සියලුම බලවේග එක තැනකට එන්න ඕනේ. අපි යනවා පරාජය කරන්නේ ජනාධිපති මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයා පමණක් නෙවෙයි. මේ මුළු ව්‍යවස්ථාවම අපි පරාජය කළ යුතුයි. එතුමා ජනාධිපතිවරණය කැඳවන්නේ නැතුව පුළුවන් නම් මේ ව්‍යවස්ථාව සංශෝධනය කරන්න. කරන්නේ නැත්තම් ඊළඟ ටික ජනතාව අපි ඔබ හැමදෙනාම එක්කව වෙලා එකම පවුල පාඩ පත්තලා ඒ තවත් කැරලි අදිනවන තවත් මිනි නොමරන වරුන්ට හිරගවන්න උරුම කරන ජාතියේ ධනය කෝටි ගණන් කාපියෝ හිරගවන්නට ගෙනියන ඒ නීතිය ශක්තිමත් වෙච්ච ඉංග්‍රීසි.
First up on international news this evening, Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has called an early election 2 years ahead of a schedule. At a news briefing, he said he would dissolve parliament later this week and was also delaying a planned but unpopular increase in sales tax. Abe was elected 2 years ago with an ambitious plan to revive the economy but has struggled to do so. His popularity has fallen, but he is expected to win the election, which will take place in mid-December.
The Czech President Miloš Zeman was booed and pelted with eggs during a speech in Prague to mark 25 years since the fall of communism, marked as the Velvet Revolution. Protesters called for his resignation and waved symbolic red cards at him.
Bodyguards used umbrellas in an attempt to protect the Czech premier from the projectiles. Cowardliness, shouted President Miloš Zeman to the protesters as his aides protected him from eggs and tomatoes being hurled by the crowd. They were showing their anger at what they see as the president's drift towards Moscow. Zeman has defended Russia despite Prague's European Union partners imposing economic sanctions on Moscow for its involvement in Ukraine.
Another sad happening took place in Jerusalem, which is the unwilling arena for brutal conflicts between Jewish and Arabs for more than 70 years. 2 suspected Palestinian men armed with axes and knives killed 4 people in a Jerusalem synagogue today before being shot dead by police. Israeli police and emergency services said it's the deadliest such attack in the city in years.
The attack took place shortly after dawn in an ultra-Orthodox neighborhood of West Jerusalem. Pictures posted by an Israeli army spokesperson on the internet showed a man in Jewish prayer shawl lying dead, a bloodied butcher's cleaver discarded on the floor, and overturned prayer tables. Police said at least one of the assailants was from East Jerusalem and predominantly Palestinian side of the city. Palestinian radio reports described the attackers as martyrs, and the Islamist group Hamas praised the attack. Loudspeakers at mosques in Gaza called out congratulations. Violence in Jerusalem, areas of Israel and the Israeli-occupied Palestinian territories has surged in the past month, fueled by a dispute over Jerusalem's holiest shrine, which has given rise to fears of a religious conflict. It looks like the Middle East conflict has reached yet another peak point.
The Justice Minister of Nigeria said President Goodluck Jonathan is to ask the country's National Assembly to extend a state of emergency in 3 northeastern states hit by fighters when it expires this week. Jonathan ordered troops into Borno, Yobe and Adamawa states in May last year.
Several hundred people have died during a 5-year-old insurgency in the region by the armed group Boko Haram, and emergency laws were extended in November and again in May this year. After a meeting of the National Defence Council chaired by Jonathan, Otoke said the bill would be presented to Parliament immediately. Boko Haram has defied the state of emergency to continue its attacks, and this week alone is suspected to have carried out suicide bombings at 2 schools, a market and a petrol station. Meanwhile, a female suicide bomber blew herself up, killing at least a dozen people in a cell phone market in Azare, a town in Nigeria's Bauchi state. Nobody claimed immediate responsibility for the Sunday's blast, but Boko Haram, which has waged a bloody 5-year campaign to establish an Islamic state in northern Nigeria, is suspected of having carried out a wave of attacks in the last 2 weeks.
But before we go into sports news, let's take a look at the views expressed at a rally titled No Third Term for Mahinda, Stop Illegal Presidential Elections, organized by the People's Movement for Democracy. This rally was held in the evening at Gunasinghapura Price Grounds in Colombo.
ඉදිරි මැතිවරණයේදී අපට තියෙන වගකීම තමයි ජාතියට වසර ගානක් ලේ හැලුණු
The responsibility that we have at the next election is to ensure that we completely change this constitution, which costs the freedom of the people of the country, allowed persons with black money to embezzle money, allowed politicians to earn millions, took away the independence of the judiciary, and stopped the raids of fraud and corruption. For this, all forces need to come to a consensus. We should not only defeat President Mahinda Rajapaksa, we need to defeat this constitution. If you can, amend this constitution without calling for an election. If not, we, together with the people, will have to do it. We will become one family and we will be committed to create an era where there will be no revolts or murders, and those who embezzle money will be sent to prison. When you step into a village, the villagers have understood what fraud and corruption is. They have understood of what is happening in this country with these powers. Today, we have been able to cast aside positions and appear on one platform in order to change this. In a few days more, this number will need to rise on this platform. At midnight tomorrow, they are trying to make provisions to proceed with this illegal and unconstitutional process. We will not let go of this. We will continue with this struggle. The gate that he is trying to open at midnight tomorrow will dismantle democracy, the constitution and human rights. We wish to tell you that we will never let go of our struggle to ensure that those gates are never opened. We will stop this. We are prepared to take whatever action is required to do so.
Starting off sports news this evening, former Lankan Test cricket captain Arjuna Ranatunga says that SLC and the Minister of Sports need to be held accountable for Sri Lanka's series loss to India. Sri Lanka suffered a serious whitewash at the hands of India at the recently concluded Snap ODI series. India went on to set 2 world records and also jumped to number 1 from 3rd position in the ICC ODI rankings. It was Sri Lanka's worst performance in a bilateral series.
Sri Lankan Cricket Board took a very hasty decision by accepting to tour India. The biggest mistake we did was our cricketers were not ready on skill training. I personally feel the responsibility should be taken by the Sri Lankan Cricket Board. I think they did the biggest mistake by allowing our players to go. Number 2, if the Cricket Board takes a wrong decision, it's up to the Sports Minister, who's supposed to be in charge of entire sports in the country and protect sports in this country, which has been very failed in the last so many years. And on the cricketers' side, a lot of people can say that they are professional cricketers, but even the professional cricketers can't play 12 months for a year. They need a break, they need to have plans, they need to organize their cricket skills or training, physical training. It's a huge aspect. It's not a month thing or 2 months thing.
Moving on to cricket news from the field now. New Zealand were bowled out for 403 runs in their first innings in the second test against Pakistan in Dubai today. After resuming day 2 with an overnight score of 243 for the loss of 3, New Zealand were on 278 for the loss of 6 wickets at one stage today, but the tail added 125 for the last 4 wickets, with Mark Craig hitting 43 and BJ Watling firing 39. Left-arm spinner Zulfikar Babar finished with 4 wickets for 137, while Yasir Shah and Eshan Adil took 2 wickets apiece. At stumps on day 2, Pakistan were 34 for the loss of 2 wickets. Pakistan lead the 3-match series 1-0 after winning the first test by 248 runs in Abu Dhabi.
Looking for that rough, and he's found it. They're loving it. On the line, at the end of day 2. Yeah, Jadection
Well, with that, we wrap up Primetime News for today. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Joel Outscoon.
And I'm Mahina Bongso. Thank you very much for joining us as always. Take care and good night.